All right, all right. There's those votes coming in. Can you guys see the screen? Should we keep "Can't Fight the Feeling" by Justin Timberlake as our starter dance song, or change it? We've got 15 say can't get enough of it, keep it. While we've got 7 that say it's gotten old, change it. Oh, it's going up. It's going up. Keep the votes coming. A couple announcements while that poll's still going, and I'll put it down when we get rolling, but just a couple of announcements here before we get started. Welcome, everybody. If you're new tonight, we welcome you. We want an opportunity to meet you all. Everybody starts out muted, but a little later we will tell you how to, let us know that you'd like to say something, and we'd like to meet you all. Oh, the polls are still coming in. Can't get enough of that song. Travis, I think you might be right. We might need to keep that song. So anyways, welcome everybody. Do we have Kyle's Comedy Corner tonight?
Of course.
Okay, of course. Okay, great. Let's just go right to that. So we've got Kyle. I'm going to go ahead and, I'm sorry, Kyle. Give me 1 minute to stop this poll. We're going to end it right here where I can't get enough of it. Clearly is the winner. So we'll end it now. And let's introduce Kyle. Kyle's a manager over there at Rebuild Recovery. Got a couple of years clean under his belt, and he is our comedian every week. So he has some new jokes for us this week. So go ahead, take it away, Kyle.
Okay. What do you call a dinosaur that's good with vocabulary? Thesaurus.
I saw that one all over TikTok.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, TikTok's welcome.
Yes.
What do you call acid that has an attitude? Amino acid. I only know 25 letters of the alphabet. I don't know why. What do scholars eat when they're hungry? Academia nuts. How do you tell the difference between a bull and a milk cow? Whether it's the one or it's the other.
He's firing these ones out tonight.
Yeah.
Rapid fire.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, I decided to sit down with my dad and play some chess. Halfway through, I said, let's make it interesting. So we stopped playing. If two vegans get in a fight, would it still be called a beef? Why was the math book sad? Because it had a ton of problems. The doctor told me that I was probably going deaf. I didn't hear it coming. Yeah. What did the policeman say to his belly button? You're under a vest. That's it.
Wait, Kyle, you gotta tell Evan and Jared your joke about
Gay joke?
yes.
Oh, turns out that we actually might have a gay guy here in the house. I hope it's Bobby. He's pretty cute.
Very good. Very good. Thank you, Kyle. We have a couple more announcements. Kristen, let's get you unmuted. Kristen has some announcements for us.
Okay, so first I want to say, holy buckets. Look at everybody in the Rebuild crew. They look all nice.
They are dressed up all fancy tonight, aren't they?
Wow. I don't even recognize most of them. You said their hoods on all the time, right? Their hoodie.
Yep.
You guys look great. That's awesome. It's nice to see you like that. I just want to tell a little bit about Give Big. What it is it's a statewide campaign for nonprofits. And anybody in the whole state can come to this website and see our profile and see what we do. We posted some videos. We posted a little blurb about what we do and where we're at. So it's called Give Big. And I've put it on our website, Families Battle, and I put it on Battlefield Addiction, and I've got it on mine. And you just go to that website, click on it, donate if you like to. Also spread the word. It's today and tomorrow. And I just looked at our donation page and money's rolling in, so that's good. And that money will go towards our scholarship fund so we can help keep our kids in treatment and sober living and help the families. So if you have any questions, get to me, and you can always get to me through battlefield.addiction@gmail.com. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Messenger, so you can get me any of those ways. Spread the word about what we do, and thank you so much, you guys. Thanks for donating. Thanks for your support all the time. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Kristen, so much. Yes, I'll get to the Battlefield Moms there, but speaking of donations, I just wanted to give a big thank you. Julie Molden made a substantial donation today, and she became a monthly partner. So we have a mug for you, Julie. We did track down some more mugs. We thought we were out, but we have a few more. We have less than 10. I don't know exactly how many we've got, but I know it's less than 10. And these special Battlefield mugs, they were very expensive to make. So what we did was we had these special for large donors. And so this is something that's never been for sale. We've never sold mugs because it's like, who would buy a mug for $50? So it was like a big, a donor donation got these mugs. So they're exclusive for our donors. So for those who make $100 or more donation, you are welcome to a mug. And so Julie, we will put one aside for you. And so for anybody else, if you make a donation here in the next week, we will put you down for a mug, and just message us and we'll have it ready for you to pick up. So with that, let's get back to that moms group.
Can I also say something? The Holmans also gave a great donation a couple days ago too.
Holmans,
yes.
Thank you so much. We will have a mug for you as well.
Yeah, it's great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, Battlefield Mom group tomorrow morning. If you haven't joined us yet, moms, on Wednesday mornings, please join us. If you're available tomorrow morning at 11 a.m., we'd love to have you. Us moms just take an hour every Wednesday morning, 11 to 12. We have coffee together. So bring your own coffee on Zoom, bring your own tea, green smoothie, whatever it is. We just take that hour every week just to connect with each other, get to know each other more, talk about the topic from the night before. It's just a great opportunity for us to process too, and really integrate what we're learning each week here from the message. So we'd love to have you. If you don't already have the link, shoot me or Kristen a message and we'll get you the Zoom link, and we'd love to have you. Whether you can just come here and there every week, you're more than welcome. So please join us tomorrow morning. And with that, are you ready, Art?
Sure.
All right, let's put you on spotlights. Take it away.
Wow. How's it sound, Ange?
I think it's good. I'll know for sure here after you say a few more things.
Okay, can we bring that a little bit down just to make sure? Okay, is there a delay? Is the sound all right? I want to know for the whole room because we're going to be rotating this mic around.
Yeah, I think we're good. I'll let you know if that changes.
Okay. I remember when I was a kid, and if you guys all know, I grew up in this house, and I think from a very, very young age, I would be in discontent if people around me weren't getting along. I was this kid in my family, and if my sisters were fighting, or if my mom wasn't getting along with my sister, or my sister wasn't getting along with my mom, or my dad wasn't getting along with my sister, there was this real, and I can still remember the threat of how it felt when people weren't getting along and how serious that weighed on me. And there was a lot of work I did as a kid of even when my two friends in elementary school or somebody was fighting, I wanted to solve that. I wanted them to get together and talk. And I was always forcing people to get together and talk when they had a problem with each other. And you know, as a young kid, I remember there was nothing in the way of, for me, there was nothing in the way. And there's always never really been much in the way of me telling you how I feel, or me telling you how I feel, or me telling anyone how I feel, and connecting until, drugs came into the picture, and I began to get isolated and everything that happened, and just this huge kind of thing that is stated in the addiction world, this treatment world, and everything, that connectivity is the answer to all of our issues, or that connectivity is the answer to addiction. And I truly, on some level, believe that. And, but what we never get to is, it doesn't seem like we ever get to the idea of, there's never a discussion how to connect. We just keep saying connection is this thing that solves everything. But I think that would be so simple. It would be so simple. If connection was what solves everything, then we would just connect. But there's a big problem once you say that connection is the answer, that we don't know how to connect. And over the last week and over this week, you're seeing that in this house, if you come here from anywhere and you walk into this house, you're going to feel something different than you're going to feel in the house down the street. You're going to feel something different than the house you're going to feel anywhere right now, I believe. And we have Jared and Evan in here from California, and I hope that they get a feeling of what it means that people are here and connecting. And, today these guys just all woke up, and unbeknownst to me, somehow they all decided to dress up, and they just did. And so now they're just sitting here dressed up, which is another way to connect in a positive way, or to say, hey, let's do something together. And I think that there has to be a discussion about what's going on, about why there isn't connection, and what people are doing to not connect, and how difficult it is to connect with people. And I think the issue is, how much of my thoughts can I tell you? How much of my brain can I empty out on the table when we move around and discuss our thoughts together? And what thoughts am I, really, I was out to dinner with Jared and Evan last night, and I said something to the effect of, what if you're trying to connect with people and you only, and last week we discussed it too, and I'm kind of repeating a lot of last week to go over it again with you guys, but to really see that we are trying to connect with human beings while telling them only 20% of what we think, or 5% of what we think, and leaving 95% of our thoughts to ourselves, or 80% of our thoughts to ourselves, and not really ever being truthful. And I don't think truthful means that you tell the truth. I don't think you guys not being truthful means that you're lying. I don't think that's what it means. I don't think saying that you're not truthful means that you lied about if you broke a lamp or not, or you lied about if you used drugs or not. I think it means you're lying about your thoughts, that you're with people and you're not telling them things. And I think that we're not telling the person we're with things, but we're telling other people what we think about that person. And we're telling our thoughts about a person to everyone but that person. We're never really skilled, and we don't have the language of how to tell my thoughts to you in a positive way and lay them out there without criticizing you, without saying you're a problem. And really another thing so we have this not emptying our thoughts problem. We have this other thing that really, when it comes to our opinion, however, and when I say our opinion, having no facts, having no experience about a situation, having no experience about whether we wear masks or not, having no knowledge to whether it benefits us or whether it doesn't, but then suggesting my opinion is we don't or we do, having no opinion, having no facts about, whether I understand Asian hate or not, but then having opinion about Asian hate, having no facts about BLM or Black Lives Matter, but then telling my opinion to anyone to listen. There's so many people that have no facts about homelessness, but God, don't they have opinions? They tell us everything. How many people in your life have opinions about addiction with no facts, no experience in it, no knowledge in it, just puking up our opinions? So everyone seems to be able to try to connect with their opinions. Everybody is very easily to connect with their complaints. No matter, hey, let's get together, and if we could stand in line. You ever go to the grocery store and you're at the grocery store and the line's long, so now you connect with the human being. You're like, yeah, they're stupid. And we all look at each other and we point out how stupid the clerk is together. And there we connect with somebody like that. Or maybe, we connect on people's bad driving, or we connect on all these things. Maybe I find another person that hates Trump with me, and now we're Facebook friends. So we like each other's posts and say how we hate Trump, and all the ways that we're trying to really connect. And I think that what we need to talk about, what people need to say is, what is real connection? At what point do we develop and cultivate a connection with another human being that disregards our complaints, that disregards our opinions. It has nothing to do with opinions, nothing to do with complaints, and nothing to do with proving. And another connection point people seem to have is you ever not see a buddy and you're not doing good for a little while, but then you start doing good. So you always call that one buddy or the one person, and you're like, I got 6 months clean, I'm doing good, so now I'm going to connect with this person. And really, it's just about getting there and telling them how good you're doing. And then they want to tell you how good they're doing. So it's this thing where you hook up to see. It's like your long life friend of your competitive friend that you compete with or something. So every time both of you are, I got a new car, let me call my buddy and tell him about my new car, or let me call my person and tell him I got my master's. Or so people are connecting on their complaints and their opinions, and they're connecting on looking good. They're connecting on how to do that. And outside of these three areas, outside of you calling your friend to complain, outside of you calling your friend to discuss your opinion, and outside of your friend, call your friend to check in to see how good or bad each other is doing, what is your form of connection? What are you doing to cultivate deeper, meaningful connections? And what is anybody doing to do this? What are you doing? How are you getting to know someone? How are you really going down this road of a deeper, cultivated connection? And I think that if you really look, we're not doing it. We're surface level. We're not telling people what we think of them, and it's not our opinion about them. It's our thoughts that show up that we just get honest with. Hey, when you said that, this is the thought that came to mind. I don't know if it's right or wrong. I don't know if it's true or not true, but you said that and this thought came to mind. Rather, what we do is you said that, this thought came to mind, and I waited to go talk to my other buddy and tell him how stupid you are. That's what we do. We call that being honest. We call that integrity. Instead of saying, hey, when you said that, to me, that pisses me off. I just wait, and then I sit there pissed off at him for the rest of the time, and then I go talk to you. Did you see what he said? It was all bullshit what he says and what he thinks. Well, why didn't you say something? Why didn't you empty your thoughts? And I say at the best, at the deepest connection, how can, if I don't know every thought in your head and you don't know every thought in my head, how can we be connected? How can we truly, it's exactly like an internet connection. How is it when the internet connection isn't 100%? How is it when it's 80%? How well does it work? And that's what we have with each other's minds. We have like a 60% internet connection at best. We have like a 40% connection here. And so everybody's trying to everyone goes, oh, Art, you're so honest and transparent. No, that's the only way I know how to connect. Here's me. Let me see you. Now you might have an opinion or not an opinion. You might have some thoughts about me. That's fine. I want to know them. Please don't tell somebody else them. Tell me your thoughts and let's connect. I could improve. I can listen to what you had to say. We can put everything out on the table. We can mix it around and then pick some shit out and talk about it. Whatever you want to do, whatever we can do. But please, this idea that and this spawns from, I just recently read Oprah's book. She came out with this notice book, and it said the book's called What Happened to You. And it's all about trauma, and it's all about, we shouldn't say to people that, why are you like that? We should ask people what happened to you. And that's why they're like that, because of their trauma, because of what's happened. And I get all that. And she says the answer is connection, but we never get to the point where we talk about how. Nobody ever gets to the point where you talk about, hey, I don't connect with you because I'm too busy sitting here thinking how you should be different so that I can connect with you. I'm too busy guarding myself thinking you should change a little bit before. I just saw Jeff, and to be very honest, Jeff's had some struggles lately or whatever that he's had, and he's went through whatever he's had. And I was walking upstairs and I seen Jeff, and my mind went exactly like, yeah, but he needs to improve. Instead of saying, man, I want to connect with Jeff, I want a deeper connection, my mind instantly went, God, he's got some improvements to make before I say hi nicely. Before he just comes, look, Jeff, you're not making, that's what our minds do. Can't you admit that that's what your mind does? That you see people and it says, I don't want to connect with this person. They're not wearing the right clothes. And then we don't want to connect with people because of people's preferences, because of people's opinions. Somebody states their opinion. They go, I love Trump. And then we go, I'm done with that guy. That's it. Or I hate Trump. I'm done with that guy. And then we actually disregard connection due to people. I have disregarded connection with people because of the food they eat. I don't like them. Oh, you're a vegan? I don't like you already. We're not going to connect. No, not going to happen. Oh, you like chocolate ice cream? You're gross. Really. I think it's gross. I think you got to have vanilla ice cream or you're a real loser. whatever it can be. I find my mind finds ways to disconnect. It does not. My mind very rarely ever finds ways to connect. It just simply finds ways all day to not connect. That's what it does. And I have to look at that. And now I have to really let the mind and get to a place where I can get past it. But to get past it, I have to see it. I have to see what's in the way of actual connection. And I think this house is a testament. Like in my recovery, I was telling people all the time, I see people all the time talking about what they're going to do in recovery. I think that I've done a lot of things in recovery, and there's two that I'm the most proud of. The things that I'm most proud of in my recovery are, one is that I can sit still. I'm very proud of the fact that I can sit still because, they tell us in this thing, and I believe it to be true, that we have a dis-ease, that we are restless and we're irritable and discontent. And I really, really am proud of myself for getting rid of my dis-ease, for being able to sit here tonight and be with you and not have to squirm in my chair and not have to look at my phone and not have to go anywhere, but just have the world stop while we sit here tonight. And I don't know what's going on out there, but I don't care. And I really, really have that. I'm proud of myself for that. I'm proud of myself for the connections. I'm proud of myself for every family on here who now has a friend because they met me. And I'm proud of everyone in this room who has a friend because they came to my program. And now they have lifelong friends that they've connected with and the connections that I've done. So I'm proud of sitting still, and I'm proud of connection. And isn't it cool that that's what they say that recovery is about? Learning to sit and learning to connect, learning to be. And this is it. Sitting here, being connected, being with people, creating lifelong friendships, cultivating deeper connections. We just knew how to do it as a kid. I knew how to do it as a kid. I knew how to connect. I knew how to connect people. I knew how to solve disagreements. I knew how to forgive. I could easily forgive as a kid. I forgive anything as a kid. Then we forget. We forget how to forgive. We forget how to connect. We forget how to sit. We forget everything. We forget how to have integrity with our friend. In elementary school and junior high, I had my friends' backs. I never talked about any of them, and it didn't matter what they did. And my friends had mine. It doesn't work that way when we get older. Everybody isn't doing that at all. But you see two kids that are in 6th grade and they're best friends, they will not talk shit about each other. They will have each other's backs. And that's not the way when we get to be 40. It's not the way when we get to be 50. Best friends go and they have wine together and they go talk shit to their husbands about each other. That's the way it works. Husband and wives talk shit about each other. That's the way it works. They don't tell each other their complaints, and they split up and they go complain to other people about each other. That's not connection. That's something else. And we've learned how to do everything but connect. So I just want to keep the discussion going about how to do this and about how you get the balls or the truthfulness to empty your thoughts onto the table and show them to people so that you can be transparent and you can connect deeper with people. So you're not hiding your thoughts and being dishonest about what you think and sitting in a room with people and then go talking about those people to someone else. This is the work. And if you want to connect, you're going to have to figure out your internet connection. You're going to figure out why in your house and in your experience, there's a lag or whatever's going on. And you got to clear that up so that you can connect to somebody else. And I think the way they're all dressed tonight, Ange, and the way that everything is, I just want to let them kind of share, and then they can answer some questions and we can just kind of talk in here and they can get an idea of what's going on in this room. So I also really want to check in with Pam and Dave and give us an update on Chris.
Yeah, let's do that. Hey, Sampalias, can we get you unmuted?
Okay.
Hey, guys.
Oh,
Hi.
David,
I guess it's getting tossed into my corner today.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to Dave this time.
Great.
Yeah,
There's people on tonight that weren't here last week, so just kind of fill in the gaps.
Fill them in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, fill in.
Okay, well, we got a call at 2:38 on the 23rd of April from Harborview Hospital that Chris had been in a serious car accident. He was unconscious. They had to extricate him from the car. And he's got had 2 collapsed lungs, fractured collarbone, fractured left femur, fractured right foot. He had a severe brain injury and stroke due to the blood clots and a damaged aorta. And I'm probably missing a few things, but pretty much his whole body has got some fractured or broken bones.
Yeah, they spent, we got a call this morning at 7:15 from a surgeon where they were taking Chris in to start working on the femur. And it turned out that the lower femur right at the knee was in 6 or 7 pieces. And they had to reassemble all of that and put it in place with screws. But they called us at about
6:30 tonight.
6:30 tonight, and they were just getting out of the operating room. So he spent the entire day in surgery to basically reassemble the left lower femur bone. But she said that everything looked real good. I think it went together just as well as they could expect it to be. Long term is probably get some arthritis down the road later in life, but they're still fighting it. The big thing now is we've got maybe one or more surgery, but Chris is still struggling on the one side. He's not getting a lot of movement out of the one side, and he struggles with any kind of verbal communication. So there's going to be a lot of work to do there to get him back to where he can start functioning.
Wow. How you guys doing? You all right?
Oh, we're hanging in there.
Yeah, it's day by day.
I like that haircut, Dave. Did you get a haircut?
Yeah, they all got cut.
Yeah. Looking good.
So it's good to see everybody.
Thanks
this is, we look forward to this. It's a big part of our week.
Yeah. Really glad you're here. Thanks for the update. And Travis, any luck there smuggling in that vape yet?
He won't tell me what room he's in. The hospital won't allow it. I'm trying to get him a vape. I know what kind he wants. It's just I'll put some more thought into it. I'm gonna get it in there.
Yeah.
We'll get it in there.
Yeah.
The mic was bad there, but Travis is basically doing what he can to smuggle in a vape to Chris, because we all know he really likes his vape.
Right.
The first thing he actually pulled his feeding tube out a couple days ago and asked if he could have Eggo waffles.
So I think his thought process was that he was going to be able to get Eggo waffles when he pulled up the feeding tube, but everything is pureed, and he didn't get his Eggo waffles.
We'll make sure that's his first meal.
We got a room full of crypto. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the egg.
Indeed.
They already got their money. Yeah. They get drugs across the border.
Sorry. I actually didn't mean to mute them. I think we have some sound issues there going on all of a sudden. Maybe it's because you're moving around there, basement crew.
How is it now?
It's good while you're talking.
Unmuted. Okay.
All right. Thank you, though.
Okay.
Dave. Thanks for the update. Keep us posted. I know you will.
We will.
All right. Okay, so we're going to open it up. We're going to have a conversation here. We have Jared and Evan there with the crew as well, and we'd love to hear from them as well, and just have a good conversation here. So if you're out there and you want to say something, the way you let me know is do you just the raise your hand feature on your device. So here I'm raising my hand right now, so you can see my little example there. There's a raise your hand feature, and you can get in line and we'll get you unmuted. If you can't figure out how to do that on your device, no worries. Just get my attention however you need to, whether you unmute yourself, whether you wave your hands. There are quite a few screens though that I don't necessarily see everybody. And we want to get to everybody. So just be patient and hang in there and don't give up. And I will see you. So who's first?
Cam had a call.
Oh, great. Who did?
Cam.
Pam Stampaglia?
Oh, Cam.
Okay, the sounds.
Cam
Really
ran.
bad. Okay, Cam.
Okay. Bring the mic over here. Where's our other one? Help. Oh.
I don't know how to put my hand down. There we go. Okay, Cam.
All right, so my question tonight was, I know that core values play a huge role in relationships. Now, how do core values play a role in connection as well?
Did you hear that, Ange?
I did, but something's going on with the mic. Is it being moved or held?
It was. It is. We're having to. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's well.
Okay.
Well,
I think we'll put the camera on people, and then I'll just repeat the question. We'll quit moving the mic around.
Yes.
yeah, that'd be better.
Okay.
Lower it to
That'd be
All right.
better.
Well,
That'd be really difficult to keep that up.
Well, Cam asked a question, and he said, you know, in this program, we talk a lot about values. And, you know, I think one of the other things that comes with values, too, another thing that we don't mention very much, but it's starting to come about, is that this thing about understanding another person's worldview, understanding the viewpoint of another person and where they got that view of people from. So to understand somebody's core values and to understand their view of what they think of human beings, you know, a lot of people come from trusting situations. A lot of people come from good biological parents. And like for me, I came from a home where my worldview was the world was safe. I didn't understand that there was, I never saw real evil. I didn't see anything like that. I didn't see people with hurtful intent. I saw people as safe. And not everyone has that same worldview. And also, we talk a lot about what our values are in this program. And I say all the time, I say, whatever values you want to come back at you, that's the ones that you practice. So if you want those, if you practice, those are the ones that will come back to you. And I think that connection is big when we begin to talk about that with another person. And I think that's where we're failing as families, and that's where we're failing as a society. We don't talk about that with other people. So the way we connect deeper, when we're connecting with our values, when we're talking about being honest with someone, when we're talking about keeping our word with someone, when we're talking about, you know, I show up, you show up. When we're talking about I help you, you help me. I remember there was a great Jon Stewart speech where he talked about, he saw people, you go, and then I'll go, you go, then I'll go. And just actually getting to a place where we talk about what your values are and what mine are, and then we agree on them and we share them. And we go, hey, in our relationship, the way we're going to connect is we're always, you ever try to connect with somebody that doesn't show up on time? You ever try to be in a relationship with somebody that doesn't show up on time? You can't. You can't, because you spend your time being angry with them about not showing up on time. You spend your time being disappointed. And that is something that connection will grow deeper if you share values. And if they're discussed and put up on the front, hey, this is what I am about. This is what you're about. Let's do this. Hey, what do you think? When we meet for lunch, should we not have our phones? What do you think of that? Should we stay off our phones and talk? Or do you want to bring your phone and then just sit there with me and let's act like we're here? And I think we're so surface level that that's what we're doing with people. We're going, hey, let's look like we're connecting. Let's go. What we'll do is you stay on your phone and tell me how important you are. I'll stay on my phone and say how important I am. And then what we'll do is we'll tell each other our fucking opinions. You know, we'll have no knowledge on any situation that we're talking about, but we'll tell each other our opinions. And then hopefully if we have the same opinions, then we're not going to fight. But we won't do lunch again if you like Trump or whatever it is. And then we talk about our opinions, and then we say, did you see my new car and you see my new house? And then another one that we do is we tell how great our kids are. This is how great my kids are. How great are your kids? Well, my kid's doing this. He's got A's, and yeah, great. But never really like, here, let's get real truthful. And never really, hey, You know, how do I cultivate these things? That this is what I'm about and you're about. So I think core values are what we have to share as families. I don't think a family sits around the table anymore and go, hey, we don't lie in this house. We don't ever lie to each other. And by lying to each other, I mean you came to me about your mother. So you're a liar because you don't go to your mother about your mother. You come to me about it, and that's not right. You got a problem with your mother. You got something to think that you think about your mom. You think your mom, then go talk to your mom. That's called integrity. You don't go to your brother. Did you just come to me about your brother? Why are you coming to me about your brother? Don't come to me about your brother. Go to your brother about your brother. Where'd you learn this? See, this thing is like, I'm going to go to you about my brother, and I'm hoping that you solve the problem for me. I'm hoping that I don't have to have power and I don't have to learn how to communicate. I want you to just make it's like you're just going to the judge. Hey, am I right? Well, tell him he's wrong and make him stop. And this is a strategy we've got. Really. Instead of saying, hey, man, when I see somebody, that's power. Power is when I'm in a relation, we admitted we were powerless and our life's unmanageable. It ain't drugs and alcohol, guys. You did drugs and alcohol because of this, because you're powerless in your relationships. You're powerless with people. You don't feel you can confront the truth. You just keep giving your power away, being a victim, and then you go get high and drunk. Power is, hey, man, I'm going to tell you what I think right now. Well, you're going to tell me, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to be in a relationship together. We're going to stand up to each other. We're going to put it down. No, we ain't going to bed. Don't ignore my text. Don't ignore when I'm talking to you. And I won't ignore when you're talking to me. That powerless move of the silent treatment. But don't work. Don't work nowhere. Don't get us anywhere. Let's get down to the bottom. So I think that's the discussion with people. Hey, this is how I am. And you and I have had me and Cam have had this discussion, and we've said, this is what we're going to be for each other. I will never break my word to you unless it's a dire situation, and you won't do it to me. And we have a bond. And we're cultivating connection. And I don't think once we've sat there and complained together. I don't think once we've sat there and talked about our opinions. And I've never told you how cool I am, right? Okay. I'm real cool. All right. And Cam don't tell me how he's cool. He does tell me his successes, though, and I appreciate every one of them. And I appreciate when people want to tell me their successes. It means something. Yeah.
How important is it? So, like, something that I've been struggling with is if I don't have, like, all of my stuff in a row, but something with someone else is bothering me, like, I just don't bring up what's bothering me. But, like, say you recognize, like, utter fraudulence in someone else.
Yeah.
Like, shit that, like, maybe someone's just doing something to maybe get ahead in life.
Yeah.
And it's sick.
Yeah.
And it's like, what, like, that is, you're not that.
Yeah.
But you're pretending. And it's like, it's utter fraudulence.
Yeah.
But, like, you have some holes in your game. So you're like, well, I don't have the capacity to come to them. It's like how can you have the capacity to be proud of someone when, like it's like saying that you're above someone and like you have the capacity to be proud of someone. So rather than like just bring it up, you just avoid it. And like, I've recognized that it's causing real tension in my days because I'd rather just give them a high five or say hi and not complain to anyone else, but just keep it inside. But it's like, there's like just inconsistencies and fraudulence and all these things because like here, I just want to, get along with everybody. And I remember 2 months ago, I was the guy that called everyone out and it was exhausting.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I'm the guy that doesn't say a fucking word.
Yeah.
I don't say anything because I am blatantly sick of the fraudulence. I'm blatantly sick of the inconsistencies and how they're not even talked about. Like everyone knows what's going on. Everyone can see all this bullshit and they just accept it. They just accept it.
I think one. Okay, you gonna get it? Do we get all this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
There is a delay. It's a weird delay, but it's no big deal. Everybody's texting me, letting me know. I realize there's a delay, but there's nothing we can do about it. And so it's coming just fine.
Okay. There's a lot to unpack there. And one thing I will say in the first part is that there's a complaint from Bobby, and that complaint is that he's seeing incongruencies between what people say they're doing in life, and this is pretty prevalent in all treatment places, pretty prevalent in early recovery anywhere, that there is a discrepancy between people, what they say they're doing in life and what their actions are showing they're doing in life. Did I get that right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not just that. It's like with my family. It's not with some people in the house.
Yeah.
Like, it's
okay.
I don't really want to dive deep into
Okay.
it.
No, but that's it. He's saying that there's an incongruencies, and we all struggle with this, right? We all struggle. And the first thing I would say is that you can't connect on your complaints. That's the first thing. The first thing is our complaints aren't there for connection. Our complaints are there for our own righteousness and our own protection. Our complaints make us better than that which we're complaining about. It just does. And it makes us feel protected because our complaints come up because we want to guard ourselves. And that's exactly what I said. I had a complaint about Jeff that came up in my head. And it's because we're guarding ourselves. We're guarding ourselves from connection. We're saying, look out for that person. They're not right. They might hurt us. It's like that. And so, one, we have to look at the complaint, and then I would say, what do you want? What do you want? And and when you slow that complaint down and you find yourself what you want, well, always what comes up next, if you don't want to be a victim, if you don't want to be disconnected, if you don't want to be kind of irresponsible and shut down and resentful and angry, what comes next is what we have on the module, which says seek understanding. And it's seeking understanding of yourself and why you're doing what you're doing, and seeking understanding of the other person. I don't believe that people are knowingly fraudulent. I do not believe that. I do not believe that it's like that. I believe people do not know when they're fraudulent. It's unbeknownst to them that they are doing something and they don't know that they're falsely motivated. They don't know that it's like that. They're just doing something. And we can, and people could see it in me, and I don't know I'm doing it, and people can see it in all of you, and you won't know you're doing it. And somebody can go, you're just saying that because you want to look good. And they might be right. We didn't know it. You're just saying that because you want to get along and you don't want any heat. They might be right. We didn't know it. They're just saying that because you want to please your boss. Might be right. I didn't know it. Humility says when I get called on it, I'm able to acknowledge that it might be true, that I might not know myself as well as other people know me. And I might need to look into it, and I might need to allow for that process. And that's the work. That's the work, is getting the complaint out of the way and saying, I'm going to not connect with this person through any complaints. I'm going to complain so they're disconnect us.
And to be honest, Bobby, if there is a complaint, or if there is somebody out there that is acting fraudulent, I mean, in order for them to, like Art said, in order for them to know they're acting fraudulent, it has to be brought to the table.
That's right. That's right.
It has to be brought to that, regardless if you don't have your ducks in the line or whatever. You know what I mean? If you bring that to the table, you know what I mean? Even if you don't have the rapport with that person, or if your ducks aren't in the line, who knows? You could be actually really helping that person out.
I would say that you were a lot happier when you were calling people out. I would say he was happy in those times. And that's what we sometimes have to do to empty ourselves. It's being truthful, saying that hey, listen, this might not be right. I might not be right. It might not be the truth. But the truth that's in the thoughts that are in my head, and I'm going to be truthful by explaining the thoughts that are in my head right now and getting them out of my head. Because if I keep them in here, they just build up, and I start thinking even like more sinister shit about people. Yeah. As I keep the thoughts, I start seeing, and then I start looking for the shit that I was already looking for, and it starts getting worse.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's not that I have many complaints, and I keep them to myself. And I'm, like I said last week, I'm fucking miserable.
Yes.
Utterly miserable. But it's like, it's also heartbreaking, the level of, and like, it's all a performance.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like there's so many, and like I perform, everyone here performs, but when it comes to people performing and pretending like they're not performing, but know they're performing, that's where my disgust comes into play. And it's like, it's one thing to be doing something and just kind of like be naive to it, you know, a bit oblivious, you know, there's some innocence to it. But when there's an utter disregard to honesty and just pretending like people don't know the truth, and I'm just going to keep the truth up here, and I'm that good of an actor that I can keep this lie going and I'm going to get something out of it. Like, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It really is.
This is the work. That's why Alan Watts said it. That's what he meant. And that's what Alan Watts said when he said the best we can hope for as human being is to be an authentic fraud. And that's exactly what he meant. He meant
genuine fake.
Yes, that's exactly what he meant, is that to be an authentic fraud, it means that you have the humility to be called out when people say you're performing. It means to have the humility to go, yes, guys, look, I care very, very, very deeply what you all think of me. So deeply that it sometimes puts my life into a performance because I so want you to love me and appreciate me and like what I have to say and admire me that I'm willing to perform for you. But if you tell me it's went too far, then it goes too far. And we want people to like us and we're scared. So seeking understanding of this is what kind of relieves us too. Kind of gets us to a point where we go, I understand what people are up to. The most scared perform the most. As we get more secure, we perform less. It's just how it is. Our life, but the most insecure of us, we perform the most. Everything we say is scripted. Everything we say is guarded. Everything we say is let out in small doses. And we're really scared. Like I said, I don't believe anymore that human beings are just trying to look good, that that's their job. I think it's gotten worse than that. Human beings got one goal in mind. Don't look bad. That's pretty much what everyone's up to now. Don't take no risks. Don't produce anything original. Don't do anything creative because maybe somebody will judge it and I'll fail. Don't start a company unless it's safe. You know, I see the most creative things. I'm really into TikTok now. So, you know, people will, my favorite thing on TikTok, I don't know if this is your guys' favorite thing, but my favorite thing is when there's a song and everybody does the dance to that song. And you go through and you watch each one. And that's the new form of creativity. People that are really good at dancing. And they don't take any risks because they know they look good dancing. I like seeing people that can't dance try to dance. You know, that's different. That's different. Having the balls to stand up when you can't dance and dance is a lot different than being a very good dancer and then dancing in front of everybody. You know, that's Willie Hung. Remember him? Yeah.
She bangs.
Willie Hung could not sing whatsoever, but he made it all the way to American Idol and became a huge success. She bangs.
She bangs.
Yeah.
The first viral star.
Yeah. So it's the balls to be uncomfortable. You know? All right. But yeah.
We've got two texts that came in, so we have two people in line. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. First, we've got Yvette and then Jordan. So let me find Yvette. Where'd she go? There you are. Hey, Yvette. Let's get you unmuted. Oh, where'd you go? I'm going to put you on. Hey.
There we go.
It's so good to see you.
I don't work the overnight shift anymore, so I can actually stay up a little later.
Fabulous. I know you normally watch the recording, so it's really good to see you live on here. So do you want me to read your question or would you like to just go ahead?
Oh, I can go ahead. I'm not afraid of art. How do you have a connection with somebody that's not interested in having a connection, for one? Two, how do you have a meaningful connection when, one, you don't want to hurt that person with your truth and your honesty, right? And two, you don't want to chance that other person, myself included, because I get that way. So there's no laying blames out here. But when you're afraid that person's truth, right, is going to cause defensive behavior. And then is it worth it? Because sometimes I kind of feel like in my relationships, and I just went through a really horrible thing in my job where it was at the point where it wasn't worth it to be truthful. It wasn't worth it to put myself out there. And so, I know you got to pick and choose who you want to have those connections with, but how do you navigate that?
Okay, well, first of all, I want to make a distinction between our truth as a human being and our complaints about other people as a human being. So I would not necessarily say that if I had complaints about you, Yvette, if I had thoughts that were complaints, that I didn't like the way you were, that I didn't like things that you did, that maybe I didn't like how you treated me, I would not call that my truth. So to say, I don't want to tell this person my truth, I don't think, and that's not your truth. That's your complaint about them, right? So does our truth, if somebody has a complaint about you, would you agree that that's their truth? See,
does it necessarily have to that it's a complaint? I mean,
if it's about the way they behave and how they should behave differently, I would say yes.
Well, sure.
Okay. So again, we are trying to connect with other human beings on our complaint about them. So it's already coming from a place that I can't connect with you because you don't behave like this. So if I wanted to connect with Jeff, like I said, I can't start with, hey, Jeff, I will connect with you if you keep your word more, if you don't struggle, if you're on time. That's not connection. That's just my complaints about how he needs to improve. So people keep saying my truth. What they're saying is, this is how, maybe they're saying you make me feel like this, but they're not even saying you make me feel like this. They're saying, here's how you are, and it's wrong. And I think that seeking understanding is a deeper level. If you get the complaint out of the way and you try to understand the person and you try to understand their motivation, and if you try to do that, that's different than just complaining. And I think,
well, I feel I do. I mean, I feel I work really hard at trying to be really understanding, and I've done that in a lot of areas of my life. And I don't feel that it's about throwing somebody under the bus or kicking them under the table, because that doesn't ever solve anything.
The other question you asked was, how do you connect with somebody that doesn't want a connection? And the answer is, find out why they don't want a connection. And when I say find out why they don't want a connection, I'm not saying assume why they don't want a connection. I'm not saying just theorize why they don't want a connection. I'm talking about truly getting down and dirty with understanding why they don't want a connection. And that will create a connection. But the thing is actually seeking understanding rather than showing up with the complaints, rather than showing up with all of it, which is different. And I think that's what a lot of parents probably on here, I want to connect with my kid. No. Are you sure? Look, I don't know if you want to connect with your kid, but rather maybe you want to explain what they need to do to have a better connection. What they need to do so that you guys have a better connection. And I'm not saying you, Yvette. I'm saying maybe it's possible that some people are acting that way. And I'm not saying
Sure.
you. I'm saying, look, it's possible that people are trying to tell me I want to connect with my kid better, but they're trying to connect about their complaints with their kid. Not seeking understanding of their kid, not seeing why the kid doesn't want a connection, but saying, hey, we'll connect better when you straighten up. And then wondering why we're not connecting better. So,
Right.
and by the way, drug addicts in early recovery and in active addiction are totally deplorable human beings to try to connect with. So there's that.
Yeah.
And it's not
That's not always true. Now you're throwing the whole room under the bus.
But I'm connected. Yeah,
But you're connecting with them under the bus. Good to see you, Art.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, Yvette.
Great to see you, Yvette. Thank you. And I just want to point out too, Yvette's question was so perfect. Stacy Thompson, I know she's on. Last week during Mom's Group, there was almost it was a very similar question. And so I really hope that Stacy heard that. And if not, it would be worth re-listening to this part, because that there was the answer that I didn't have the words to articulate. It's like speaking my truth versus recognizing that it's a complaint. And that was perfect. So all of you guys, all of you moms that were on Mom's Group last week, that was the answer right there that I wish that had been articulated, but that was the answer. So beautiful.
Something like my truth would be something like, if somebody was disappointing for me, let's say, and I'll use a friend that's anything, somebody that we haven't talked in a while, somebody that I feel is disconnected with me. And then, I'm not going to call that person and go, I want to tell you my truth. My truth is you don't call me enough. My truth is you're never there when I need you. My truth is I can't count on you. That's not my truth. My truth would be something like, dude, my life's so much better than when you're in it. My life's just better when you're in it, man. And my life's better when you're sober. And the experience of you when you're sober is something that I want so bad. And God, the experience of having you around, it's amazing. That's my truth. That's what it sounds like. My truth doesn't sound like, my truth is I'm so mad at you for the way that you behave. Yeah. I'm so pissed off that you steal. I'm so pissed off that you don't call me. I'm so pissed off that you chose drugs over me. None of that is your truth. Those are your complaints. So we need to distinguish between, and that's my truth is I'm a victim. That's not your truth. Yeah. That's just some shit you're saying. And my truth is you make me feel that way. No one makes you feel that way. You make you feel that way. Yeah. So my truth is you're making me so upset. I always hear that one. I know I'm making you upset. I don't give a fuck. Whatever it is. But you won't make me upset. Why? Because I'm going to be responsible for how I feel. Oh, you're making me so angry. No, your fear is making you angry. Your insecurities are making you angry. Look. Okay.
That's so good. That was so good. I really appreciate that distinction. Okay.
I'm telling you, one more thing real quick. We don't even have a language and a place to go. If we take away our complaints, if we take away our opinions, and we take away looking good, and we take away lecturing, how do we talk to each other? I mean, really, you take away those things, then we're basically left with the weather. It's nice day outside. Yeah. Yeah, and that's an opinion. Yeah. Nice, yeah. All right,
Jordan, let's get you unmuted.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Hi, Jordan.
Hi. So I have a question on connections and boundaries for you, Art, and whether obviously everyone creates their own boundaries and when enough is enough, especially trying to talk to someone who's in active addiction, but I just kind of want your take on it.
Well, first of all, my take is, and this is going to go a long ways, and I can't finish it tonight, but I truly don't believe in a thing called boundaries. I think I don't believe in them. I don't, there's things I don't do. Yes. But it's not because it's my boundaries, and my boundaries sounds like such a victim position to be in. If I have boundaries and I have to set my boundaries, what it kind of alludes to is the world is mean and I got to watch out for it. And everyone's mean, and I need my boundaries to protect myself from the mean people. And I'm just going to be so hurt by what people do that I need to No, I don't believe in my side of the street. I don't believe in your side of the street. I believe in the whole fucking street. I'm coming over there. If I want to be in a relationship with you, we're going to be in a relationship. I'm going to figure out how to make it happen and be responsible. Now, if someone's using drugs, I just don't hang out with them. If somebody's using drugs, there's no need for boundaries. We just don't even need to talk. It's not like there's some extent of they're using drugs, so then I'm going to talk to you a little bit on Fridays and then create anything like that. It's like, dude, you're using drugs. It's over. There is no discussion. I don't hang out with people. It's like, cool. What are you going to tell me, that you're paranoid? You're in a closet? Dude, we're good. So I don't understand it, and no, boundaries. Like, no, I'm not going to pay your way, dude. I'm not going to give you any money. How's that? Ever. I mean, it's this thing that we're trying to like do that. And then excluding active addiction where you just drop it and you just go, I'm out. You're using drugs, go to treatment. That's it. I don't understand. Excluding that, then there's relationships with people that aren't using drugs. And in my opinion, how could that hurt us? What are we needing these boundaries for? Like, are they going to say mean things? We're not dealing with people wielding weapons. We're dealing with people in words. It's like, so what? Boundaries. I'm going to tell you everything I think. I'm going to empty. If you use it against me, you're an asshole. Whatever. You see? So I boundaries to me, it's a hard word to grasp because it just takes, it seems to me that when somebody is saying, I need boundaries, they're also saying I'm a victim. And it's like saying I'm a victim, but saying I don't want to be, but you really do, because you wouldn't have the boundaries if you didn't want to be a victim, and on and on and on. Because then when somebody goes past your boundaries, you go, they went past my boundaries and now you're superior, and it's all a mess. So yeah, it's a long way of saying I don't know about that. I just say that I said that if you're working and you're open and you feel in your heart and you want to connect with people, you can't have boundaries and connect with people. And you also can't connect with people that are using drugs. There will be no connecting with people that are using drugs. They're impossible to connect with. What people like to do when they're using drugs is drugs. Right? Yeah. Do we ever care who's like connecting with us when we're doing drugs? No, we don't. And when we are connecting people when we're using drugs, we're connecting with them for money. Yes. A place to stay. We want to be enabled. We want our addiction to keep going, and we want you to fund it. That's why we do that. Okay, I'm sorry, Jordan, but that's a long,
It's fine.
Yeah.
I needed a teaching moment because Zach's still at that stage. So
I got it. But you just, it's the boundary is just, there is no relationship. You're using drugs. Yeah. I've seen a lot of people on meth recently. They're crazy. People on meth are crazy now, and they don't. And it's worse is that people on meth used to go away, but it's like this new thing where they're trying to do meth and incorporate themselves into society, like post on Facebook about their life and shit. It's like, dude, you're on meth. Everyone can read it. It's crazy. All right.
Thanks, Jordan.
Oh,
Good
we
to
have
see you.
Okay, Bobby, got another question?
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about this because this is like an area where I actually kind of disagree about the whole truth thing, because I heard this quote, it was about a week ago, that said truth without compassion is abuse.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like sometimes I misunderstand it, and it's like you just tell the whole truth and empty your truth and give everyone complete honesty. And I think I like misunderstood that, and that's like where my honesty, like I started to keep my honesty to myself because my honesty was bad.
Yeah,
my
but
honesty was
again, you have to get down with the point of whether it's your truth or whether it's a complaint. You have to distinguish that.
Okay.
My complaints about you, huh?
What about facts? What about just
Okay,
facts?
so he says, what about fact? Yesterday, give me a fact. Give me a fact. I mean, you give me a fact. Yesterday, you were late for group. That's a fact, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what's wrong with that? I don't like that. Yesterday you were late for group. Are we going to do this in our relationship, or what's the deal? I mean.
Okay, but what about in the sense of boundaries where it's a touchy subject like something that someone is very insecure about, or like their job, or
Yes. Okay. Now, this is the meat. He's asking about how to confront these things that are going on in your head and how to have it not be abuse. This is the whole game.
or blatantly,
You're
a piece of shit.
Yes.
You're lying. You're fucking. You're cheating. You're getting away with it.
Yes.
Like, because to me, that is literally just crushing someone.
That's right, but that's not what we're saying to do. We're saying to acknowledge some things and seek understanding, to do it in a way where you're not abusing people, to do it in a way where you say, hey, for instance, like I look at somebody and I go, hey, whatever you're doing right now, whatever it is, but we're not saying it in an angry, accusing way. We're saying like, hey, this is affecting me. However we can say it.
I have a really good one.
Okay.
If you're on unemployment and you're working a side job and you're getting money.
Yeah.
And you keep fucking getting unemployment.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting unemployment. So I want to look at you and go like, you're a scumbag.
Yeah.
Like that's the truth.
Yeah.
Like, right. But then we tiptoe around shit like that.
Okay. Well, one, for sure, that's a complaint. For sure, that's an opinion. That's an opinion and a
If you're
complaint.
working, you shouldn't be collecting unemployment, right?
Well, that's an opinion and a fact and a complaint for sure, because you could just look around and what a fact has to do is it has to be in some place of a reality agreement. Like if you look around a room and you find 10 people that agree that it's a fact, it might be a fact. But if you find 10 different opinions on that person, then it's probably just your opinion. And if you laid it out there and said, my opinion of this person is they're a scumbag because they're taking unemployment and working a side job, well, then everybody else would have a different opinion. So obviously we don't have a fact. That's your opinion, but you're trying to call it fact and it's making you upset or whatever.
Well,
but
who decides what is fact then?
Well, we have to have a fact is determined through a reality agreement. I mean, there's reality, like we can all see it, and consensus. It has to be, it's a fact that it's 8 p.m. and we've all decided in reality that that's the agreement, that we would use time in this form, and we came to a reality agreement, a consensus. And that's what we've done.
This chair is red.
That chair is red. We've all determined that's red and we have red. So it's like that. But when we say, I don't like that person because this is the way they behave, that's definitely some thoughts, and that's definitely fine that you can put it out there. But, that's not maybe the truth.
Well, there's fact in like you're on unemployment and you're working a side job, but that's like the fact part of it, right? But as soon as he's saying like that's wrong and you're a piece of shit for doing that, that's the opinion.
Yeah.
Right. And
that's
then,
right.
And then it's just like overrides.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. What did you have? What did you have to say?
I just wanted to ask a question next.
Okay.
We're done, just.
You might need to repeat it, Logan.
All right. And Angie, give me when it's 5 minutes. I want Evan to kind of close, and then right before.
Perfect. You have 5 minutes until 5 minutes.
Okay.
10 minutes left.
Yeah. So along the lines of some of the questions that these other guys had, how would you deal with being confrontational with the person that for like a meaningful relationship, whoever it is, somebody in your life.
Yeah.
How would you deal with being confrontational with the person that always that's like evasive, or maybe like that their role is like anytime you're confrontational about something, I mean, kind of like how you were just saying, how it's like you feel like you're attacking that person, and as soon as you're confrontational or like you start listing specific things, it could be in the least hostile way. They immediately want to jump to being like the victim role, or they want to like act like you're attacking them, or how would you like tread lightly?
I'll tell you, in my lifetime, 47 years on this planet, only in the last 4 did this word ever appear when dealing with my relationships. Never did I ever have this word. And when I tell you what it is, you're going to see that maybe you haven't had this word show up in your vocabulary either. That never have the word approach really shown up for me until like the last 4 years of my life. Like, what is my approach with this person? And that never really showed up for me. I didn't care. When I was 43 years old or whatever, it was like, hey, stop being a piece of shit. And that was my approach. You know, hey, you're an idiot. That was my approach. I thought I was going to get somewhere. Hey, you're never going to stay sober, you asshole. That was my approach. Hey, you're all wrong. That was my approach. And then it got to the point where I came to the point where I saw that really that was going on because I didn't want connection. What I really wanted was to be right. And so at about 3 or 4 years ago, I found myself in a position where I see in most of my relationships, I wasn't looking for a connection. I was looking for self-righteousness. I was looking to look across the table at the person I was in a relationship with and really point out why they were bad and I was good. And then that started losing its appeal for me. And I got to the point where I wanted to connect. And when you want to connect with people, what you're going to first realize is that you don't get to be right anymore. That's the first thing you're going to realize. You no longer get to be right. Now you're going to have to delicately get in there and try to figure out what's really going on. It's not as simple as you think. You're not right and they're wrong. If you're in a relationship with anyone right now and they think you're wrong and they're right, how's that? You don't believe it. So how could you possibly believe that you're in a relationship with somebody else and you're right and they're wrong, when you don't believe that you're in any relationship where you're wrong and they're right? How can it be? That's insane, right? But there's this insane thing going on when we're in 10 relationships with people and they're all wrong and we're right. And it's insanity. It's colliding worlds. And what we need to do when worlds are colliding is we need to seek understanding of your world view, your point of view. I need to see. Believe me, I used to think Jared and Evan were always wrong. I would say, Jesus, what are they doing? They're treating these kids like they're changing their diapers down there. They're just, they think they're going to love these kids and connect with them and that's going to work. And, but it took okay. I used to think anyone that took Suboxone was wrong. I used to tell anyone that told me that, and then you start seeing a different world. You see other sides of things and you just kind of open up and you figure it out. And an approach is if you're approaching somebody and they're getting defensive, what would we see? We understand this with dogs. If you saw a dog and he was growling in the corner and cowering, would you just violently approach that dog? You wouldn't. You would be smarter than that. But we see people angry and defensive, and then we try to come at them with anger and accusations. Hey, you need to stop. And the person gets more angry, and it cycles up, and it escalates. We never come to people and go, hey, I'm trying to just understand. I don't think I'm right anymore. I need to understand what's going on between us. Let's just talk. You tell me what's up. I'll tell you what's up. You tell me all the shit about me and I'll listen. I'll tell you some shit about you. You don't have to listen. Whatever. But we have this thing where we think I'm just going to come right here on my side of the street. I'm just going to tell everyone what I think it should be like. And then I expect them to live up to that. And when that doesn't happen, we're out. I was right. They're a piece of shit. And this is different. This is saying I'm actually choosing calmness, connectivity. I'm choosing to sit and be and look somebody in the eye. And I now have to be responsible for figuring this out. I have to see, how am I going to get this person to trust me? How am I going to get this person to believe in me? What way do I got to live that I can hold you accountable for the way that we all want to live?
Unless you completely don't want to have a relationship with that person.
Right.
But if you do, and it's important to address things, because it can't just be water under the bridge.
Yeah, but it's important also that we're not doing it like a complaint. Yeah. And we're not saying you're wrong and I'm right. Yeah. We're saying this is what I'm seeing. Am I right in seeing this? That is better than what we normally do. This is what I'm seeing in the way you're doing it. Why do you do it that way? It's seeing, look at this room. We're trying to connect from colliding worlds. All the shit that we've all seen that everyone else hasn't seen. All the shit he's seen in his life. All the shit I've seen in my life. All the shit that we've all seen in our life has collectively gathered here to be in this room. And now we're all supposed to just understand each other? There ain't a chance. I don't know what he's seen. I don't know what you've seen. I can't just assume that you've seen what I've seen. Worldview. I come from two loving parents that told me the world was great, told me it was okay. They didn't abuse me. They loved me. I never had it. They didn't die. They were there for me. If I needed food, it was there. Now, what if I come up against somebody that didn't have food as a kid? Do we even have the same worlds? And then you meet somebody and they go, when I was 5, I had to go over to the neighbors to eat. There wasn't even a meal on the table. Well, how do I understand that person then without truly trying? And believe me, I'm not fucking very understanding. I'm trying to be. But I'm not. But I'm saying, and I'm trying to not be I'm trying to be authentic in my fraudulence. So believe me, you can call me out too. But that's what we're doing.
So
and that's what it is.
We are down to just 3 minutes. We want to take time for
I want to share some thoughts.
Yeah, we do. We have 2 hands that just raised. We
can go overtime.
Okay.
We can go over. We're good.
Okay, so let's go to Stacy quickly, and then Carrie and Doug quickly, and those will be our final 2 hands raised, and then we'll close it up with Evan and Jared. Stacy Thompson.
Yeah. Hi.
We can't see you.
I know. My camera's off. Sorry about that. But my question is, what you're saying is that you want to seek understanding with the addict that's in active addiction?
No.
Are you trying to seek her understanding of what's going on right now?
No, I would say if you're going to seek understanding, then you would be seeking understanding of active addiction. Like even people constantly say, I just love this thing where people are shocked, like when they get their necklace stolen. It's like, you're an idiot. I mean, you at this point in life, you haven't figured out that addicts steal. You should be penalized for being so stupid, because you could kill an addict by leaving your gold chain around. They'll die. You can't leave that kind of stuff and to be shocked by it. So no, it's not seeking understanding of why of anything with her right now, because she's using drugs, and when we're using drugs, we have an obsession to use drugs. So you're not going to, but it's seeking understanding of yourself right now. That's the time for that. Seeking understanding of your own anger, your own insecurities. That's the time for this. The preparation, the getting ready for the game. Sometimes we aren't in the game of relationships. Sometimes we're practicing on our own, getting ready for the game. Sometimes we're becoming better human beings so we can engage when they're ready. So we can be less angry, less accusatory, but still hold firm. Still not be a sucker. Yeah. So how are you going to be strong and powerful, but not be a sucker, and not worry about being a victim, but not give your money away either?
Yeah.
Just kind of building up your own power, getting to know yourself, seeking understanding of the problem of the fact. It's just like people I hear all the time. Why, people that don't understand addiction all the time, why would you choose to screw your life up? That is the dumbest question I've ever heard. Nobody is choosing to screw their life up. We would all love to do drugs and live in a penthouse, wouldn't we? We would all love to do drugs and keep a company going. We would all love to do drugs and keep our relationships going. We would all love to do drugs and have money. It'd be great. It's just difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. The kids, we all want to do drugs and keep our kids. It's just a very tough concept. But here's the facts. 1, I'm a drug addict, so I got to use drugs because I don't have another solution. 2, all this other shit keeps happening, and I don't want it to. So there's a seeking of a real seeking of understanding of other things other than that current relationship. It's working on your other relationships.
I am doing that actively, and I'm seeking a lot of understanding, mindfulness, and other avenues that are helping me to understand myself and to ground myself better.
Yeah, you would understand, Stacy, understand why she can put you at a moment of weakness, and how you get yourself to a position where your daughter only gives you the relationship that she gives you, only needing you for things, never being there for you. So I would say seeking understanding of how we get to that way with people, how we get to the way with people where they treat us like a doormat. What happens?
Yeah.
How does somebody get And that's the understanding you need to seek is how did I get to this position where people only give me what they give me and I got to take what they can give me? And I've lost power in my relationships. Okay.
That's so
Thank
good.
you.
That's so good.
Thank you.
Okay, and let's get the Burrows. I just put big stars on that. That's a good one for me to have for mom's group, that the distinction of sometimes we're practicing and not in the game. And that's the most difficult thing. Us moms, we continue to forget that Art is not talking about when they're in active addiction, and it's a constant forgetting. And we constantly have to be reminded. But I loved how you said, Art, sometimes we're practicing and not in the game. That clears it up right there. Can I get you unmuted, Carrie? Or
I think I am. Aren't I?
there we go. Hi.
Okay. Hi. Hey, so I just want to see if I think I get it, and I'm going back to what Bobby was talking about. In a sentence I have captured, you have to be open to hear the why of what you see.
Okay.
So
explain that.
Well, so use Bobby's example. Is he's frustrated with somebody because they're doing the unemployment and they've got side jobs, and listening to kind of how the group talk there is it, has he engaged, and thanks Bobby for giving this example. Has he actually engaged with the person as to the why?
Yeah.
So, and that's the example that I have right here, but I don't know. You said something else that I went, oh, this is what I'm taking away from it is you've got to be able to ask, this is what I see.
I always say, first of all, when it shows up like a complaint from me, and this is me, when other people's behavior shows up like a complaint to me and bothers me, the first question I asked is, why does this bother me? Why does this bother me? And I can look around the room and you know, when something really bothers you and you want it to bother everyone else and it pisses you off when it doesn't bother everyone else. That's where I always know I'm real screwed. You know, when I'm trying to encourage others to be bothered by somebody and they're not, I get severely frustrated. Like, are you guys seeing this? How come you don't hate this person like me? How come you're not pissed? And then I know I'm in trouble. And I already know that I don't really probably even need to go to the person at that point, that it's probably something inside me that I got to work out, that I got to figure out why it makes me insecure and why I'm getting righteous over their behavior. Now, if we're in a room and we see somebody go up to Safeway and I'm with 10 people and somebody walks into Safeway and comes out with a bunch of stuff and doesn't pay for it, and all 10 of us are sitting there kind of like, what the hell, dude? Well, now I know I'm kind of on the right track. I don't really need to seek understanding of myself. I kind of go, well, we all kind of agree that's an asshole move. And then we can do whatever with it. So, I think seeking understanding is first seeking of why this hits my stuff. Why is it in my microwave here? Nothing gets hot. With nothing in a microwave, the microwave doesn't get hot. That's just how it is. So you put the smallest little thing inside of a microwave, the microwave gets hot, no matter what, a pebble, a piece of rice. So whenever your microwave's getting hot, I would say you got something in the microwave. And you got to first look there. All
yeah,
right.
Let me add, and then we'll go. I have to add, because I remember this when I met you, Art, in the first year of knowing you, and you were coaching me with Devin. You said to me, look, if I said to you and accused you of loving clowns, you would not even get fazed by that. But if I called you a bad mom, that's something I'm hitting your stuff because you have this fear of being a bad mom. So
yeah, you could be at a treatment center and tell people they're a huge, gigantic clown lover, and they'll laugh. But you tell them they're going to relapse, and they get all pissed off.
Yeah,
really. You tell them they're going to get high, and imagine that. Telling somebody they're going to relapse that's relapsed 42 times. Yeah. And this is time 43. And then you go, hey, you might relapse by that behavior. And they go, no, I'm not. I would never. Okay. Whoa. Whoa. But you love clowns. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, some
thank
thoughts?
you. Yeah, I do actually.
Here, sit here for a second.
Sure.
Evan Haynes from Oro Aloe Recovery House, which is slowly transitioning to Oro. We had him as our guest in February in the Spotlight. If you joined us, you got to know him a little bit.
Thanks for having me here. Everyone looks great tonight. I love that. I'm a guy who throws around the word connection a lot. It's in our motto. I've never thought about the word and really what we're trying to do as much as I have tonight.
Yeah.
Like, that was big. I had so many thoughts the whole time. One of the big things for me was it isn't the connection itself, it's the quality. War is a connection.
Yep. Two countries connected.
Two countries connecting, a bunch of young men, connecting out on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Probably we could also say everything is connected. It's in itself, it's kind of a meaningless word.
Yes.
We're all connected by the same air. They actually say we've probably breathed in a Caesar's last breath, that we've all breathed an oxygen molecule from his very last breath. Like, we're all connected. It's the quality. It's the quality. And so in our connections, what are we doing? And you've taught me so much tonight. You've taught me so much in general, but tonight this was big. So how cultivate? I loved that word. Like, we cultivate a garden. You can almost hear the root word culture in there, that this isn't just natural, that it's not automatic, that we figure it out. Like, what grows automatically are plants out in nature. But when we cultivate something, we're taking all these different pieces. Like, a seed will only do what a seed was ever going to do. But if we're going to figure out how to grow it, how to cultivate it, well, we're going to need some sunshine. We're going to need some water. We're going to need some good soil, some kind of food.
Get the weeds out of there.
Weeds out of there.
Constantly picking the weeds.
Right. And I think all we can ever do, if there's one thing, so if I'm going to cultivate connection, what is one thing that I'm going to do? I'm certainly not going to come in and try to control someone, certainly not aggressively, but to seek to understand. And can we actually throw up the graphic with the victimology and the understanding? Because that made me really think too. There's a gentleman named Sir Roger Penrose, and he has a theory he was actually Stephen Hawking's thesis advisor. He came up with a theory of consciousness, and the way he explains it actually is that artificial intelligence will never be able to create consciousness, that consciousness is something else. It's something weird, and it won't just emerge kind of naturally out of a certain number of connections in a computer. Doesn't matter how many trillions of connections you have. Consciousness does not arise. It is something kind of unique to us. It's weird. And that he gives an example that a computer might beat you at chess, but it doesn't understand the game. It could never understand the game. It could never connect with you. And so I feel like the line going down from complaint to victim is like it's conditioning. It's like us as a computer.
Yeah.
That we have stimulus response. It's trauma and these things which are real, and we have compassion.
Protectionism.
It's protectionism, or we have a program like, I want to be better, I want to beat you, or I want to look good. Yeah. That's just programming. That's my program.
Yeah.
Or I want to be a victim because it brings me some kind of reward. It's just like
makes my life more important.
Input in, output out. It's very simple. Whereas complaint to leader, to seeking understanding you will change me. Like, understanding each other opens us up if we're open to it, maybe in the first place. It'll then even open us up further. Understanding is what makes us human. And I'll kind of close with this, because Bobby, I think you're correct that there's complaining, but then there's compassion. And I almost think we might have stumbled on something. You probably already figured it out, but that compassion and understanding are really synonymous.
That's right.
And that, interestingly, the root word of compassion, calm with passion is to suffer. We suffer with other people. There are no boundaries. We can't not suffer or feel someone else's pain, especially if we've opened ourselves to it. It doesn't mean we need to be, kind of forever affected by it or brought down by it, but we feel someone. Isn't that the whole point of this experience of life, is to understand and hopefully to feel other people in our lives?
That's why you always see when men get hit in the balls, women always laugh.
Oh, other guys.
And then when other guys get hit, we always go, ooh, because we understand.
Right. And then when the ultimate goal to be for a guy to understand a woman and vice versa.
Yeah. They laugh at us when
they
we hit
do.
the balls.
That's not nice.
They don't seek understanding.
Right.
Yeah.
And so seeking understanding, there could be no other goal. Like, I'll certainly tell you, in war, there's no understanding being sought. That's probably what led to the war.
Righteousness.
It's righteousness.
Yeah.
Whereas you look back at the wars and like, these other people aren't bad people. We just put it in our mind, we must destroy, they're bad. It's very basic. It's just a computer.
Yeah, trying to win.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I will say that as well, just kind of piggyback. This is all just kind of piggyback and summarizing, but conflict is not abuse. That even with this kind of understanding, compassion model, it doesn't mean that we can't kind of put things out on the table. As long as we do it kindly. Cool. I loved the dog analogy, but that conflict is not abuse, and that as long as we're doing it in the spirit of compassion and the spirit of understanding, that we can't go wrong, and we can work things out, and we can arrive in some cases at some kind of consensus reality, and in other cases not. And some people are free to go do weird stuff in their home. It doesn't affect me. Maybe I'm curious about it. Maybe it's boring and weird at the same time. And it's just like, okay, there's probably a lot of that going on. But when it's stuff that if we start affecting each other because we are connected, that there's certainly some way we can work it out. And in that conflict, hopefully arrive at some higher good or some higher truth or some higher beauty, and that's the goal. And I'll leave it with that. Thank you.
Beautiful. All right, let me close it out real quick,
please.
Okay, well, I hope you guys all enjoyed it. And once again, Evan Haynes, Jared's back there. He's the silent straight man. He just holds it down. He doesn't really come out and talk. So if you're wondering who Jared is, there he is, right back there. I did show him a video today, and just so he's usually like stoic and everything, but I made him cry today. Just so you know, Jared Valentine was crying today, everyone. So yeah. So anyways, once again, I hope you really enjoyed tonight, and I did. And I think that if you're here and you're in this room, you know what it felt like to be here. And we encourage everybody to be back next week. And once again, it's an honor for you to come in our home. And thank you for letting us into your home. And let's all pray for Chris. And hopefully he gets doing good this week. So thank you. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Basement Crew. See you next week, everybody. Good night. Good night.